Whoopie-doo, it's everyone's favorite boomer and vintage lens enthusiast. Today we're going to look at the Vivitar 70-150 3.8 close focusing auto zoom. It's a screw mount and it's on the Alpha 6000. I bought this lens new, like for 30, well, I bought it used, but like new for 35 bucks. It still has the pass sticker on it. It looks brand spanking new, like it never been used. It's got a little bit of dust on it, but I put that dust there. Let's see, 3.5, oh, half f-stops, 5.6, 8, 11, 16. Oh, or the full f-stop between 16 and 22. It focuses down to 5 feet or 1.5 meters. 150, 105, 85, 70 are marked. There's a click stop here, and then it goes into close focusing. So you gotta be in the 70 to get close. And that's useful. That's better than nothing. I mean, 5 feet's a little cheesy, but you know, that's the way it is. By itself, it's a small lens, and this is the adapter. It's a little hefty, but not as hefty as some. Stop down the f8 and f11. It's a fine performer. It's critically sharp in the center, and depending, it could be a little funky on the sides. Considering this is a crop sensor, that's scary. You know, what was it like a full frame? Maybe it wasn't noticeable back in the film days, but f8 and f11 are your go-to apertures. I didn't shoot at 16 or 22, and I really didn't study at 3.8 and 5.6. But for 35 bucks, you can't go wrong. What do I like about it? Well, it's a two-touch zoom. That means there's no zoom creep like you would a push-pull. Everything works really nice. This lens is never used. You know, I believe this lens is made by Chiron, and I read about it on some review site or someplace. I said, yeah, if I ever find one, I'll have to get one. So what do you think? I always go to my favorite used camera gear sites. There's a place in Georgia. There's the superstores in the city, some other places. Well, the place in Georgia, they had one for 35 bucks in excellent plus condition. So I said, what's there to lose? I'll go buy one. And like I said, it's critically sharp in the center, super sharp as the big boys, right? And it does look a little soft on the edges, but it didn't seem to consistently soft. So maybe, you know, if you're stopped down to f8 or f11, it is reasonably easy to focus, but if you end up on one side of the depth of field or the other, then things are going to look soft. But they didn't look out of focus soft, they looked aberrated soft. So I'll have to look into that more. But it was bright, vibrant colors. It has low distortion as far as I could tell. It seems to be well made, all metal, except for these rubber rings. I say if you could find one for 35 bucks somewhere, go get it. You won't be disappointed. Of course, on a crop sensor, of course. I have my suspicions about full frame, but that's not to say I'm going to put it on a full frame camera and see what it does. Bright sunlight. You should still use high ISO, like 400 or 800, so you could get fast shutter speeds. You're going to get camera movement if you go much lower than that. Of course, 70, you could use slightly slower shutter speeds, but once you get towards the large end, well, you know, you got to take unintentional camera movement into consideration. So this is 24 megapixels, and I think it did a really good job. Really good job. What's going to be your delimiting factor is how good you can focus it. Now, I always focus at the stop-down aperture. Otherwise, you have to adjust the camera too much, and you're going to lose picture opportunities. I like to leave it on f8 or f11. Although in this photo shoot, I went from 800 to 400, and I varied 8 and 11 a lot. And I did do mostly 70 and 150, and I just guessed, like there, what is that there, 120? I don't know. And what's this? Like there's 100 somewhere there. And I didn't do anything here, but mostly 70 and 150. That's what I do with zoom lenses. And I walked up closer or moved far away, of course, to tweak things in. But for the price, 35 bucks, brand spanking new, brand spanking new, excellent lens, a beautiful lens. I could recommend this only because of the price point. Well, it's made in Japan. So mechanically, it's really nice, and it's super sharp in the center. And depending, it seems to favor infinity target. Targets at infinity seem to have a very even resolution and freedom of aberrations. And depending if you focus on something that's infinity and there may be something closer on the edges, then that's when you may start to see aberrations. Of course, this is just a random sample, and the fact that it's super sharp in the center, I bet they're all like that. That's what I'm thinking. So I went to the park, beginning of November, shot some typical pictures in the park, and you could judge yourself how good or how bad this lens is. Now, on this adapter, this is the photodiox adapter. Let's take this off for a minute. They have this pin that engages the aperture to make it either manual or there is this manual switch here, automatic and manual. So in my case, it doesn't matter. See, it's auto, it stays open. Let's go back to manual, and that stops down. So I'm going to put it on auto for a minute, and let's screw it back on and see what happens. I think photodiox makes the best thumb adapters. Let's see what it's doing. Can we see that? I don't think it's doing anything, so I'm going to put it back on manual. It's hard to see. I can't even see what's happening in there. But at any rate, on a dumb adapter, you should always put it on manual anyway. You know, if you have a film camera that is an automatic screw mount, then you should put it on auto. But it's a nice lens. This thing is in perfect cosmetic condition. It looks really clean inside. And for 35 bucks, you can't go wrong. It's a nice lens. And I intend to do some more studies with this, without a doubt. But let's jump into slideshow, and then you could decide. Now that the weather is cool again, like late October, November, when this was pictures were taken, I could go to the park without being attacked by bugs. And this is the Vivitar 70 to 150 constant aperture 3.8 on an M42 mount, and a dumb adapter on the Sony Alpha 5000. And like I said previously, I got this lens really cheap. It was in excellent plus condition, almost brand new, and it turns out to be a fine performer. It's absolutely sharp in the center, critically sharp, and I'm getting spotty results on the edges, which makes me think it might be a depth of field problem. 150 has a shallow depth of field, even at f11, and but barring that, I think it takes really good pictures, and the optics are really clean. And it had a nice, sharp, contrasty, colorful image. Now look at these ferns here. That's sharp. That's really sharp. That's amazing. Of course, that's in the center. And here again, very sharp, extremely sharp in the center. But it still allows you to, get from 70, which on a crop sensor is sort of like a telephoto, and 150, which is definitely a telephoto, which means you're going to have to use higher ISO and faster shutter speeds, to eliminate any unintentional camera shake. But it did such a really good job. The park, we've seen this park before, and this is an island. I think it's called Goat Island, and there's some sort of a chimney there. Maybe you could barbecue, I don't know. And it's got a big lake, and I like to walk around it and see the big lake. And I was just was amazed by the quality of this lens, without a doubt. You may notice that in my little title on the bottom, I've misspelled Vivitar. I spelled it with the two T's instead of two V's. So I hope you'll excuse me because I did fix it. But barring that, look at these pictures. They're sharp, they're contrasty. Uh, it's a good lens. I mean, if you could get one cheap, I paid top dollar for it, 35 bucks. Maybe you can find them kicking around for 15. It's an off-brand name. But I believe they were made by Chiron. And Chiron, they were a third banana, but they were definitely put out some good stuff. And maybe it's hit or miss with the different models, but this particular model is really nice. I really liked it. And in fact, I'll probably shoot with it some more on sunny days, of course. And just experiment with it. I mean, I was really pleased with how the photos came out. And this park has erratics. These boulders are called erratics. People didn't lift them up and put them there. Bigfoot didn't, but the glaciers from thousands of years ago just dropped that stuff there. And of course, it's mulberry season, and I'm into mulberries for some reason because they're shiny and red. And how does the lens perform on these? It performed pretty good, I think. And then of course, it's also cattail season, and it performed adequately here. It has a built-in lens hood, and I had it out, and I was shooting pretty close to the sun, and it seemed pretty flare resistant. So it has that going for it. I think it just came out, the photos came out really good. So whatever you want to use it on, if you don't want to go to the park and do nature, you want to use it for something else, it should work really good. It was sharp enough that even f8 and f11, it wasn't too difficult to focus. And, if the fine detail looks muddied, that could be because I was using ISO 800. I noticed when I went to 400, it sharpened up quite a bit too. And I like the way the Sony handles reds. A lot of cameras have trouble with reds, but the Sony does not. So this tree always looked like an alien to me. I think it's hiding there in plain sight, studying us. And of course, in November, early in the morning, you get these zebra striped shadows all over. They have this cast iron sign there, and I use it as a benchmark, one of my benchmark pictures. This one is at 70 millimeters. This one is at 150 millimeters. I think it did a really good job, really good job. So it's one of those lenses that are a real sleeper bargain. If you see one around, it's in good shape, pick it up. Even you could get them in bargains from mail order places. I don't do eBay. I just like to buy them from regular stores. And the mulberry bushes, these are the leaves on the mulberry bushes. They're very colorful too. And I guess the animals eat these. And they're the only thing to eat in the winter. Poor animals. I feel sorry for them. Here's some walls that were built by ancient astronauts. There's this oak leaf. I was just impressed with it. And look at the sharpness on this close-up. This is the B super crop. I like this. This little bush was in front of this fence. The lens did a really good job. I was just amazed with it. Of course, it is a 70 to 150, but it's small and lightweight compared to other 70 to 150s. I like it because it's a two-touch instead of a push-pull. More walls from ancient astronauts. This is a cool lake. It's like 10 minutes from my house. I go there, I take a walk. The lighting is different, so it always looks different wherever you get there. Notice this is look at this. This is fantastic. This is the B picture. This is a super crop. This is the edge. You could say it's just slightly aberrated. Is that from out of depth of focus? I don't know. I don't know what to say. But, if you look at the fine detail, you can see the moss and lichen here, and it's a really good lens. There's always people kayaking there. This is a town, 2 towns over. I was in a parking lot, and these 2 red trees were there. And that's why I took them. This is a rose that's in my front yard, still blooming in November. Do you believe that? And this is using the focus, the macro setting. The bottom dollar is get one if you could get one.